Thank you. So I want to welcome everybody to the Southwest Riverside County Military Affairs Committee meeting for this June 2021. My name is Mike Monroe. I'm joined by my fabulous counterparts here at Impact Southwest Riverside County. And as always, I want to thank you all for joining us for this lunchtime meeting. We have a stellar presentation today. Specifically, one of our attendees, I'm hoping will have a good connection because there is hopefully some spouses here that can take advantage of the fellowship program. So we'll have some good updates on that a little later, but I want to start with introductions. We'll keep this brief. So Hilder, would you kick us off?
Hey everybody, thank you for being here. I'm Hilder, and as Mike mentioned, I'm one of his counterparts here at Impact. Yeah, thank you for being here. I'm excited to hear from Melinda.
Thank you, Hilder. And Kim?
Hello, everybody. I'm Kim with the Marietta-Woldemar Chamber and Impact Southwest Riverside County. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Next up, Amanda Fisher.
Hello, everyone. I am with the Office of Senator Melissa Melendez, and I'm also a Gold Star wife.
Thank you, Amanda. Next up, Mr. Joe Molina.
Joe Molina, National Veterans Chamber, and I think we're gonna have some Melendez in our radio show coming up pretty soon. So thank you, Amanda.
Thank you, Joe. I'm going to save the intro for Melinda for the big intro, as she is our presenter today. And then same thing with JJ and Michelle. I'll come back to you. Noel.
Hi guys, Noel Cahuto. I own Caring Transitions of Menifee, which is a franchise that provides senior moves and state liquidation.
Thank you, Noel. Eva Graves.
Hello, my name is Sergeant First Class Eva Graves. I am a station commander for the Army Recruiting Office in Marietta.
Thank you, Eva. Next up, Mike Rio.
Me?
We missed you. I think your mute button was on a little lag there.
Okay,
there you go.
Can you hear me? Okay, great. Sorry, guys. This is Mike Carrillo with Navy Federal Credit Union over here at the Marietta branch on Cal Oaks, and happy to be here and looking forward to the meeting.
Excellent. Thank you, Mike. Next up is Raven.
Hi, everyone. Raven Hilden with MilVet, Military and Veteran Support Services, supporting our veterans in the community and deployed troops worldwide.
Excellent, Raven. Thank you for all the good that you do. So I'm going to go ahead and move right into base updates. And I'm going to start with March Air Reserve Base. Michelle, what's going on up at March?
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Very good.
So General Coburn's last day is the 30th. We're all hurting. The new commander will be in July 21st. And also we have the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force visiting the base next week. So really excited about that. That's all we have going.
Excellent. Thank you, Michelle.
No problem.
First, we'll have to see in the future if we can get an update from the new commander up at March Air Reserve Base.
Yeah, we'll work on that when he gets here and gets all settled in.
Oh yeah, definitely one time to settle in there. Thank you as always, Michelle.
No problem.
I love it. And from our friends to the south there, Mr. JJ Gamelin from Camp Pendleton, what's going on down at the base there?
Hey, good afternoon, all. JJ here. So a couple items. Last time I briefed you on an upcoming fire school that we had aboard the base, which we host for CAL FIRE and surrounding fire departments. So that was a magnificent success. During the course of that fire school, we actually had a wildland fire on base, but fortunately we had more than enough assets to actually knock that down pretty quickly. And aside from the training those departments got, they got some, additional real world experience, like they need that. So you probably saw the smoke from that one, but that's well behind us now. Yesterday, we had a change of command on the installation. So Brigadier General Conley, who is the regional and base commander, relinquished command, and our new commander is Brigadier General Woodworth. He was familiar with the area. He had previously been in a previous life the commander of Marine Corps Air Station Miramar down in San Diego. So he just took over yesterday, and he's out and about learning all the things about this base and the region today. So we have a full schedule for him. Also today, Camp Pendleton personnel associated with Marine Corps Installations Next, along with NeoX SoCal Tech Bridge and Marine Corps Air Station Miramar, are conducting an electronic mobility symposium aboard Miramar. And that brings together industry, academic, and government partners for live presentations and demonstrations on technology that support electronic mobility. And this event coincides with yesterday's event, which was a unmanned logistics demonstration also held on Miramar, where we teamed air and ground assets to conduct coordinated multi-mission resupply missions. So that particular unmanned logistics symposium was designed to validate commercial sector technological advances in unmanned systems that the Department of Defense takes a look at and can use in terms of apply those technologies, as well as inform our requirements in a systems unmanned logistics ecosystem. So some real exciting techno stuff going on over the last 2 days. If you want, I can, I know we had talked about this earlier, Mike, kind of as a complement to the previous Corona Tech Bridge. We can probably put something together sometime in the future and walk through those demonstrations and what took part, if that's something that the group is interested in hearing. So that's all from Camp Pendleton for today. Over.
Thank you, JJ. Great update. Lots of awesome things happening down there, and we would be very interested. In the interim, if you have the ability to, any type of media that is open for the public, we'd love to get that out on the Southwest Riverside County Military Affairs Committee page. Because especially technology is something that we're extremely committed to here in Southwest Riverside County. So thank you for that, and thank you for all you do. Awesome. So with that, I'm going to open it up briefly. Does anyone have any questions for either JJ or Michelle Tapscott? Noel?
Hey, this is probably not business related, but for Michelle and JJ, are you guys are having the air show this year at all, either at Miramar or at March?
The air show for March will be next year.
Mm-hmm.
We're not doing one this year, but next year for sure.
All right. Noel, if you need to, I can put you in touch with JJ for more info on the Miramar Air Show. Although driving down the 15 there, I feel like it's almost always a Miramar Air Show because those those jets are ripping over the freeway there. I always love that. I live for that. Super cool. So thank you all for your updates on what's going on the bases there. And as we open up, I'm sure there will be even more opportunities to connect our community to our wonderful installations here. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our absolutely fabulous, most amazing, we are very grateful to have you, presenter today, Melinda Gomez. She is the program's overview for the fellowship program of the hiring, I need to pull this over, forgive me, of the Hiring Our Heroes program, which is a U.S. Chamber Foundation program. So we've had some great success with this locally, and we hope to increase the visibility. So it is my honor to introduce Programs Overview, Melinda Gomez. Take us away.
Thank you so much for having me this afternoon. I was going to say this morning. Today's flying by already. So I'm super excited to be here to share some of our success that we've had with hiring our heroes here in the Southern California region specifically. Myself and my colleague Lauren Ramos are based here in San Diego and kind of cover, well, all of California, but our heavy push right now is here in Southern California. So this is where we have the highest population of our military families and where the majority of our efforts are focused. And San Diego region is one of 8 for our military spouse fellowship program specifically, which I'm going to talk a little bit more in depth on. But I also want to touch on our other programming because hiring our heroes is a nationwide effort to help engage our military families and connecting them with economic opportunity. So if we can go to the next slide here. Perfect. Thank you right there. So we just had our 10-year anniversary. We were founded back in 2011 as, you know, the economy was a little rough, especially for our military community. Our veteran unemployment was more than double that of their civilian counterparts. Military spouse unemployment was hovering around 30%. So that was, you know, a big thing that drew us into these initiatives. It was the launch of the VOW Act, the Veterans Opportunity to Work Act, and that kind of just started sparking this initiative nationwide with organizations like ourselves and with lots of other amazing organizations to help fill this need and make these connections. So our primary areas that I'll kind of cover is our fellows programs and ways that employers and the military community can engage in those and can benefit from them. And I also want to touch on our events because we have a lot of events. All of our events are free for employers to participate in. And we have a few coming up here in Southern California at Camp Pendleton in October that we would absolutely love to have local businesses support. So can we go to the next slide, please? Just jump right into our fellows. Okay, so I'm a military spouse. My colleague Lauren, she's on leave this week, but she is also a military spouse. Her spouse is an active duty Marine. Mine is a veteran. He got out a few years ago. But both of us' lives and our careers have been fully engulfed in this space. We're career coaches. We worked on the installations and with local chambers across the country for the majority of our careers and helping transitioning military and military spouses find employment. So our fellows program is in San Diego. We've been here for about a year. Our corporate fellowship program, which is actually the program that I'm the manager for, is for our active duty service members. So it's as they're leaving the military. We've been around for about 4 years in this region. And recently we've seen, about 30% growth annually for the last couple of years. So I'll start with the active duty fellowship program. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to raise your hand or jump in. I don't want to go too quickly. So our active duty internships fall under a program called DoD SkillBridge. So if you're not familiar with DoD SkillBridge, essentially it allows for service members within their last 6 months of active duty to receive command approval to take part in a training program or an internship that will help them ease that transition into the civilian sector. So our program specifically is a 12-week internship program. We work with about 80 Southern California companies currently that are hosting fellows or, you know, briefing them in our professional development classes or just providing mentorship and things. So 12 weeks, we run it 3 times a year. So we're getting ready actually for our cohort that begins in August. I have 70 service members that are preparing to get started in their, what we call an interview window that starts next week. So they're getting ready for that. We have prep workshops for them, resume reviews, mock interviews to kind of prepare them for those interviews. And our goal is that many of them may or may not know what it is exactly they want to do when they leave the military. But we find that if they want to retrain and go in a full different direction, There's a lot of programs out there. There's, as you can see on here, we do have a few industry-focused ones, whether it's the renewables energy. We have some automotive training, and we're working on a lot of tech initiatives that will be getting started here later this year. Or if they simply want to take their education and experience from the military and simply reapply that in the civilian sector. So that's primarily what our internships are going to be for, is trying to figure out, looking at their experience, looking at their careers in the military. Maybe they've gotten a degree on the side as they've been going through, but what is going to help them transition? What's going to help them make sure they can take care of their families? Is it commensurate with their skills and experience? Are they having to start over? Hopefully not. So we're helping kind of bridge that into these internships. They work with these companies for 12 weeks. Monday through Thursday, and on Friday we come together for what we call our huddles. So we have professional development workshops, and local employers kind of join and talk about various topics. Tomorrow, for instance, we have Viasat joining us for our huddle, and they're going to walk them through ATS systems and interview techniques all the way through the salary negotiation. So and it's kind of fun to get different perspectives in different industries on how that's managed, but that's going to be our effort for tomorrow. As you can see on the bottom there, our active duty internships are very successful. We have an 86% hiring rate upon completion and 93,000 average salary. That's our national averages. Southern California is even higher than that. We have about 92% hiring rate with 105 as our average salary, which is amazing. Super exciting. So we do have opportunities nationwide. So we encourage service members, if they're stationed here, but ultimately they're trying to get to Boise, Idaho, or back to the capital region, we're going to help facilitate that internship there, so that they're connecting with that community and getting their network solidified. And the same for those coming here. We do know that the majority of service members coming out, I think we're at about 25 to 30%, want to stay here in Southern California if they're transitioning from this area. So we do find that this is the second largest program in the country for our active duty service members here in Southern California. The first one is the capital region. We do have a few more people out there, which I'm not sure how they can afford that either. Any questions on the active duty program before I switch over to the spouses?
Hey, Melinda, this is Noel with Caring Transitions. How do the sailors and Marines soldiers know about this program? It's a great program. And when I was in, I never heard anything like this. So I wish I did.
Yeah, right. I know, my husband too. So we're working with the transition offices at the various installations. The Department of Labor in their workshops, they should be talking about SkillBridge when they're doing their initial counselings under the new NDAA initiative for transition. They should be talking about SkillBridge opportunities. We specifically have an MOU with Camp Pendleton, so we're considered a Camp Pendleton SkillBridge, but we have a larger DoD MOU that allows us to host and work with all branches of service. So ideally, it's coming from there. We do a lot on LinkedIn promotions and just trying to get the word out, and from organizations like this that have that grassroots, reach and can start spreading that word internally as well. Still getting there though, for sure.
All right, thank you.
Melinda, I had a quick question, kind of along those lines of so is there, I know you need command approval to attend these or participate, but is there, like, who gets to attend? Does the command ever say no? Is there like a certain decision or a way that they make decisions of who they approve and who they don't?
Yeah, so we're working with DoD to trying to make this more widespread, because right now what we're finding is the Army and the Air Force are getting approval at a much higher rate. And then the sailors are getting approved at a low rate. The Marines are getting there. We're getting better with that. There are MAR admins, NAV admins, Air Force directives and things that are out there to kind of help with this. But there isn't like a rank requirement. There isn't so many years, anything like that. It's really kind of at that commander's discretion to approve it.
And is there any incentives for the commanders to approve it, or is it just up to their, like, hey, I'm nice, I want to let you go?
Yeah, basically what they're working on is getting the ability so that if a commander signs off on it, that they're automatically getting that position backfilled. So that's kind of the biggest struggle right now, is the units and stuff that are already undermanned to be able to allow their service members to go. I would say another, kind of perk is I have a lot of commanders in my program too. So I'm always like, okay, well, hopefully you were good to your service members when you were in that position, because as they're getting out, they're coming through as well. But it's just kind of to help in that transition. The biggest purpose of SkillBridge is to lower the unemployment rate for DoD. So if they're helping, get that lined up, the idea is that it's going to help retention down the line. It's going to help recruiting numbers, because they truly are returning quality citizens back. But yeah,
All right.
It's an uphill battle.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so now onto our military spouse fellowship programs. And I'm going to kind of pivot this by kind of pointing out the differences. So for our active duty service members, they're 12 weeks. They're still on DoD's dime. They're still, fully on active duty, accountable to their commands, but kind of in a permissive TAD or TDY status while they're in the program. Our military spouses can participate at any time in their career, whether they're an active duty spouse, a reservist spouse, a retired veteran. Heck, they can even participate if they're divorced veteran spouse. Our kind of approach to this is, if someone is or considers themselves a military spouse at any time in their career, has been impacted by the fact that they were a military spouse and they are eligible to apply for this program. Right now, they are primarily 6 weeks. I know on the slide it says up to 12 weeks. That's because our Salesforce fellowship is a 12-week internship for spouses, but primarily it's the 6 weeks. They are paid through a stipend. We have scholarships for our spouses while they're in the program. And since this program's a little bit newer, we're still kind of growing and developing that company rapport and building up companies that can host our military spouses. San Diego region, which includes Southwest Riverside, most definitely is our largest military spouse program in the country. Lauren is preparing to send out 25 military spouses to our local employers to try to find them opportunities. And we're looking at about 85% hiring rate for them as well. Average salary is about $63,000. As I kind of mentioned in the beginning, the main reason for these efforts was that unemployment rate and trying to help ensure economic opportunity. While our efforts have helped on the active duty side immensely, I think COVID has made the military spouse efforts even harder. So we have a higher hill to climb on that. I think the last quick poll that was done between us and Blue Star Families has military spouse unemployment at around 35%. So it's actually getting a little higher. We were down to about 24% about a year ago. But as I'm sure you've heard and seen in the news, women in the workforce is at an all-time low, and our military spouse community that much so as well, especially with childcare options and other things that come with being a military spouse. So that's kind of an overview of our fellows program. There in the middle, it talks about our industry focused ones. That's something that's growing and evolving every day. So if you follow us on social media, you'll start seeing some of these initiatives. Like we have one with Salesforce, where they're taking military spouses, active duty service members, and veterans. So all three of those, if they have Salesforce training, we get them, or if they don't, we get them trained up and then place them in Salesforce roles. Those are fully remote, which is kind of appealing. And then we're working on a lot of emerging tech. So mil tech initiatives with the VA, with Booz Allen Hamilton, with Amazon, and then we have our automotive technician program and solar. Those are all different kind of fellowships, internships, opportunities that we're working right now. Any questions on any of that fellowship stuff before we move into the events? No, it's a lot of information.
I have a question again.
Anything? Yeah, please.
So you mentioned, because childcare has been really, really difficult lately. Are there any options for fellows that would like to participate in the fellowship program, or for the military spouses? Like as far as childcare goes?
So we have like Camp Pendleton and MCRD. I think Miramar has some resources as well for childcare reimbursement and trying to help with that. But that's still kind of a gap. The way that we're trying to help bridge some of that is more remote opportunities. So trying to find kind of that balance. That's a big drawback for sure.
Yeah, so there's not actually like any reimbursement for childcare or anything like that until they
not from us.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, we don't have
Just
that
wanted to
yet.
confirm.
Yeah, some of the bases have some stipends that we can kind of tap into, but us as
they do.
a nonprofit doesn't currently.
Yeah, and I know there's childcare aware does those stipends or the assistance, but the wait list for that is pretty substantial.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. There's so many like almost there solutions, but that's probably the biggest hill we're trying to climb right now for sure.
Absolutely. Do you know if sorry, this might be a question for another day.
No,
do you know if the DoD does any type of MOUs with specific childcare providers to, accept military families first or anything like that?
I know that, and it's kind of funny because it's like a two worlds colliding. So my husband is a director for Head Start programs here in North County, San Diego. And so he's been having conversations trying to build those relationships too, to try to funnel military families in through Head Start as well. So those are, it's kind of funny. So that's kind of happening in the background as well. So hopefully we're able to make some movement on that soon.
You got the inside scoop on that one.
I know, right? Funny you ask. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Anything else on the fellows? Otherwise, we can go to the next slide, please. Great. So I kind of walked through, oh gosh, sorry. I kind of walked through some of this, but I thought the next one was the events, but this will be helpful too, to kind of walk through how it works, because if any of you are talking to any transitioning service members, or even on the company side, if you're interested, we don't have requirements for companies to have a certain number of employees. There's no cost to participating to host a fellow. There's no obligation to receive. If you receive resumes and you're like, oh, none of these candidates match, there's no obligation that you're interviewing or hiring. It's all kind of for the good of the service member. So the way it kind of works is we have application periods. So the application period for the August cohort just finished on Friday. And then I had companies and stuff kind of opting in at that point as well. The interview process begins on Monday, and it usually lasts about a month. So what that looks like is I'll send those resumes out to interested companies, both the active duty service members and the military spouses. It'll go out to the employers. The employers can review the resumes, decide if they'd like to interview anyone, reach out and do those interviews. And then by the end of that interview window, kind of let myself or Lauren, depending on the candidate, know if you'd like to make them a fellowship offer. And then they would kick off their fellowship after about 3 weeks after that offer is made and they've accepted. That allows for any kind of onboarding or background check, anything like that, that the employer may need to do. And then for the service member to make sure that they are handling all of their checkout procedures. And then they would kick off their fellowship. that 12-week or the 6 weeks, again, the 4 days a week with the huddle on Friday, which I think is my favorite part. If you're familiar with DoD SkillBridge in general, there's a lot of programs out there who are like, we don't have cohorts, we can take a service member at any time and try to match them with an opportunity. And while we're moving more towards a model like that, where we're going to have kind of flowing cohorts, we find that having the cohort model and having the group kind of going through this process together helps them develop their network, helps them, kind of go through this transition together. They're talking about their VA stuff. They're looking at, different company cultures and what does project management look like for you over at this company? This is what I'm doing over here. Oh, that sounds better to me. And kind of that cross pollination, I guess, of skills and trying to figure out where is going to be the best fit for them. And then we have that professional development aspect as well on those Fridays. And then towards the end of the fellowship, they'll start having those job offer discussions. There is no guarantee that you'll get a job offer from your host company, just like there's no guarantee that if they make you an offer, that they're going to accept. It's just, we ask the companies, is there an 80% chance that you'd be able to hire this person if it's a great fit and if everything works out? If the answer is yes, then we can facilitate that fellowship. And if, at the end, it doesn't end up working out, that's okay, because hopefully throughout their fellowship, they've been developing that network and putting feelers out there and applying and are still going to end up with that job offer most likely. So that's when graduation comes. Most of the service members will be leaving active duty within a few weeks of graduation. And so there's sometimes a little bit of a gap before they start working, but again, that 93% or so will begin working within 90 days of completion. I think what accounts for the other 7% is mostly those who decide to go back to school, decide they want to be actually retired for a little while before they start working. And there are a few that will struggle, and we continue to work with them through that. So that's the fellowship. We can go to the next slide. And for reals, we're doing hiring events now. So hiring events, we have large events, kind of smaller events. Camp Pendleton, we're going to be hosting one of the biggest ones in the country here in October. I'll be sending over that flyer afterwards, but it's going to be what we call a career summit. So it'll have workshops in the morning. We'll have guest speakers and panelists and stuff. And then in the afternoon, we'll have a large career fair for all the service members in this region and employers to be able to come from. Average attendance, it says 350. I don't know what our limitations may be for the in-person career summit, but last time we had it was in 2019, and we had over 2,500 service members in attendance. So it's generally pretty big. I'm sure we'll have to limit that slightly, but we're anticipating a pretty good turnout. And then you can kind of see the number of rates and things like that can be fun little stats of how many job seekers and percentages of service members that move on to the next step. We're also doing a lot of hiring events right now virtually. So if you head over to hiringourheroes.org/events, you'll see we have events happening every week. So we have some that are just professional development. So if it's, tuning up LinkedIn or interviewing skills or networking, and then we'll do at least one hiring event a week. Some of them are industry focused and others are regionally focused or just general large hiring events. And we utilize career connectors in our events and in our fellowships, where if someone applies to one of our programming, whether it's a hiring event or a fellowship, they're going to be connected with one of our career connectors who's going to make sure that they have a resume that's ready, make sure that they're aware of other programs and opportunities out there, because maybe the fellowship's a great fit for them, or maybe there's another partner of ours that would be a better fit. And then for the hiring event side, just making sure that they're prepared. So is their resume going to speak to that specific industry? Is their background being presented in a way that's going to come across well to those employers, and just kind of doing a little prep before they actually go to the hiring event. So if you're interested in attending any of these, hiringourheroes.org/events, you can go in and register as an employer. You can also just register to be informed about any of these. When I send some stuff out after this, you'll see on the bottom of my signature, you can be added to our mailing list, where you can start seeing all of the local and national stuff that's happening with Hiring Our Heroes. And I think that's it. Can we go to the next slide? Or is this it?
That is it.
Awesome. Great. Any questions about any of the hiring events or the fellowship programs that I discussed? I didn't find a slide, but we do have a local military spouse professional network here at Camp Pendleton. I'll drop that website in here. But it's
the Facebook groups.
It is, yeah. It's a Facebook group, and there's a group on LinkedIn as well. But that's a place where employers can drop job openings. We do networking events, usually monthly, but those have been kind of drawn back. We're kicking off our summer professional development series. I think actually it started last week, but throughout the summer, every week, we'll actually have a little topic, kind of a lunch and learn little thing where you'll learn a new little skill or tip on networking and job search.
I see Michael had a question in the chat. What was that website to register?
I just dropped it in there.
Yeah, I see you dropped in the link. Is that also for employers to register for the, okay, cool.
Yes. Yep. So if you go in there and you click on any of the events, you can register as an attendee, or you can register as an employee or an employer.
Great.
Hey, Melinda.
Yeah, go
Yes.
ahead.
Hi, this is Mike Creo at Navy Federal again. Kind of a question for you. Not sure if this is something you can, support with us, but we actually have coming up a change in our company dress code policy, which we are highly looking forward to, meaning that we no longer will have to wear ties in the branch.
Oh.
And so we just had my supervisor and I, we had a conversation the other day about, what are we going to do with all of our excess ties? And we would love to, potentially donate them then to, some service members who are out there looking for, job opportunities. And
that's so cool.
Yeah, just, for anybody who buys ties, they're like $20, $30 a pop. So is that something that you might be interested in, or anybody who you can connect me with, and we can, work something out?
Yeah. Oh gosh, I have a couple of ideas. So we could either do it in conjunction with the base, where we do like a tie thing, or if we wanted to do it specifically for those who are getting ready for the interview window, we could do a professional, drive-through tie thing. I don't know. Yes, let's talk about that. That sounds fun.
Yeah, could we maybe get together offline then and figure something out together?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Thanks.
Awesome. That is great. I know that, well, we've had one success story up here so far with the Military Spouse Fellowship Program, and Mike and I, tout that wherever we go. We're very proud of that. So we're so excited to keep going with it and really push the message and get the spouses up hired and at local companies. That way, there are so many benefits for the community and for the businesses, just mentioning the fact that military spouses are on average a very highly educated group. Their experiences are so varied and have so much to bring to the table that I think it's a group that really deserves a little more attention in the employment sphere. So thank you guys for working on that.
Yeah, and it's tough when it comes down to a service member getting out and they want to stay here, but that's a hurdle for them. If my spouse can't get employed, then we can't afford to live here. So we have to, you know, go back to wherever they're from, and maybe that wasn't a great environment. So it kind of has this ripple effect where if there's not enough economic opportunity and they're not feeling supported in their community, then it's definitely going to affect that service member and the services at large. So.
Absolutely. And that's why I love the example from, so the city of San Antonio was one of the first large sponsors, so to speak, of the Military Spouse Fellowship Program, as I understand it.
Yeah.
And I just love that the municipality took such an active role in bringing that, because they knew what how important it was to encourage military families to actually settle in San Antonio, even you know, if you get the military spouse hired, their chances of staying there after the service member separates are so much higher. And you know, you'll have high income earners in your area, you'll keep them there and they'll contribute to your region. And that's what's so, you know, that's a treasure trove right there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Mike, are you
Absolutely.
ready? Absolutely.
I'm here. A good conversation. I never want to jump in just for the sake of. Melinda, I got to tell you, I thank you so much for presenting to us. We'll continue to be a champion for this program here in the Southwest Riverside County region. I know Hilda and I are constantly talking about it. And hopefully, you know, as the months progress, especially as people start to go back to work and the community opens back up, I'm really hoping to see the needle move sooner than later. So thank you for all that you do. And thank you so much for having access or giving access to both active duty and their spouses to wonderful employment opportunities.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Rock and roll. So with that, I have a task for everyone on this call. If you have not heard about the Hiring Our Heroes program prior to today, you can always reflect back in the archive of the meetings that we have. And I task you all to go tell someone about the Hiring Our Heroes program. It is absolutely stellar. And I'm sure everyone on this call knows someone that could benefit from this awesome program. I've seen the reactions and I love you guys too. It's awesome. Cool. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and open it up. I know we have some absolutely fantastic folks here with us for a committee member discussion or also updates. I know Raven, I always like to kind of throw it to you first because you've always got cool stuff going on. So if there's any events that are happening or anything that the committee should know, please jump in.
All right, well, hey, thanks, Mike. Actually, yeah, so I've got a lot of really cool things in the planning stages right now. So I don't really have anything quite yet concrete to share as we're working out a bunch of details, but I do want to give you guys a shout out for the most awesome, amazing mega mixer last week. That was super cool. There was a ton of great people, made a lot of great connections, and the venue is just a ton of fun. I think it was just really neat. There's plenty of room for all kinds of fun stuff. So I definitely, you guys all deserve mega kudos for that. And hopefully there'll be more like that out there in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you, Raven. That was a ton of fun. I had a chamber hat on for that one. I saw Amanda unmuted, and actually that's exactly where I was going next. So yes. Amanda.
Hello, everyone. In October, we are having our annual Veterans Expo, and this year it will be at Monteleone Meadows on October 22nd, which is a Friday. And we would love to have everyone come. If you like to set up a booth, we would love to have you there. Basically, we'll just be giving resources out to veterans and just sharing different programs with them and their families. Yeah, so I can add my email address. So if you have more questions or would like to attend, please reach out to me and I will get back to you ASAP.
Excellent. Thank you, Amanda, as always.
What was the date again, Amanda? What was the date?
October 22nd.
Thank you.
Thank you, Morris. And at this point, I'd like to encourage you all, if you have not already, please leave your contact information in the chat there. But if you forget to save the chat at the end of this meeting, as you got an invite to this meeting, all of the folks that are part of the Military Affairs Committee, their contact information can always be accessed from the calendar invite, or we would be happy to present or give you a sheet of the folks that are involved at your request. So feel free to reach out. Connectivity is what we do best. So with that, any other updates? All right, forever hold your peace. So as always, I want to thank everyone for joining us for the Military Affairs Committee meeting. I'm going to go ahead and jump into shameless plug time. I would like to encourage you all to join us for the Veterans Business Action Committee. That will be the second Thursday of every month. It's hosted at the Innovation Center for the City of Murrieta. It is a fantastic event, or more of a group where veteran business owners come together. We had a business owner come in last month specifically with a business idea. It was a twinkle in his eye, and we were proud to send him in the direction to kind of find some legs for that. So if you know someone that is already in business looking to connect with fellow veteran business owners, or if you know someone that is looking to start a business, the Veterans Business Action Committee is a great place to start, and we're always happy to be your compass. With that, we will have the announcement for our next month's presenter coming very, very soon. And as always, I'd like to thank the folks that support this wonderful group. Those are Elsinore Valley Municipal Water District, Temecula Valley Hospital, Anderson Chevrolet, Julie No Agency for State Farm, Modern Lending, Polito Cleaning and Restoration, as well as Pachanga. It's because of those folks that we've been able to really increase the reach of the connectivity, as well as get the military badges created for the veteran businesses. My last ask of this wonderful group here is if you do know a military business or a veteran-owned business, our community is tremendously supportive of veterans and their families. So we would like to give a free military business cling to go either in the business, on a vehicle, whatever it is, just so we can help identify those veteran businesses, because I can promise you there's a community that wants to celebrate you. So with that, future agenda items is we will have the next quarter of presenters coming out here very soon. And I would like to plant the seed August through, I want to say November area. We will be focusing hard in on entrepreneur opportunities. We should be hearing from VetFran and a few other great business-minded veteran organizations. So we're very excited for that. So if you could help me celebrate once more Melinda Gomez from Hiring Our Heroes. It was a fantastic presentation. I thoroughly encourage you all to connect. And until next time, I will see you next month.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for coming.